What's up everyone, Darcblade here with a patch information video regarding update version 13.50 for PlayStation 4, 13.5.0.0 for Xbox One, and as PC have caught up with the console now, 13.50.00. This update is being released on the 23rd of April 2020 and brings with it new content and various bug fixes and adjustments. The update for PlayStation 4 is around the 0.5GB mark, for Xbox One it's around the 0.4GB, and for PC it's around 370MB mark. But what does this patch update contain? Well, first of all, in terms of main additions and more important changes. First of all, and the main event is Kulve. They've added this Elder Dragon to Master Rank. There is now a new event quest that players can take on to earn themselves materials from the Master Rank version of Kulve to upgrade the appraisal weapons you got from the Kulve Siege. The difference about this event quest is that it is now a more traditional hunt in that you're actually slaying Kulve instead of knocking materials off of her. It still takes place in the same location, but it's no longer a siege event. Of course, if you're interested in this event quest, there is a dedicated video elsewhere on the channel going into a bit more details about this as well as how you upgrade the weapons, so check that out if you're interested. Finally, when it comes to Master Rank Kulve, there will be also Master Rank Kulve armor we can craft, which is a very elegant looking set. It's going to be interesting to see if they have similar stats in terms of skills, but we'll have to wait and see. At the time of making this video, they aren't available, so I can't bring you much more details. Also, this update brings with it Arch-Tempered Namielle. This new difficulty comes in the form of a event quest, much like the Arch-Tempered event quests were in the base version of Monster Hunter World. But through this you'll be able to earn the Namielle Gamma armor set, which should be quite powerful. Now, both these monsters and their event quests aren't going to be available at the same time. We're first going to get the Eternal Gold Rush, which is the Master Rank Kulve event quest. This will be taking place from pretty much the time this video comes out till the 8th of May. And then from the 1st of May to the 15th of May, we'll get the Arch-Tempered Namielle event quest known as the Distant Dark Tide. But anyway, that's about it for the main additions that came with this update. Let's move on to a few new system additions and changes. First of all, they increased the number of weapons that can use the layered weapon feature at the workshop. Basically, layered weapons are like layered armors, but for your weaponry. So they've increased how many weapons can actually use this feature. A rule of thumb is that the weapon needs to be able to be augmented to actually make use of this new addition. Also, sticking with the layered weapons, they've increased the number of bases and parts for layered weapons. Next up, the appraisal weapons that you earn from the Kulve Siege can now be upgraded at the smithy. This is in keeping with the Master Rank Kulve that has been added with this update. And appraisal weapons can now be created at the Elder Melder. I assume this is going to be very similar to crafting Safi Jiva weapons at the Elder Melder, where you use Kulve materials to craft them, and it will save you from having to do the Kulve Siege to get the appraisal weapon, as there is no way to get the appraisal weapons through the Master Rank Kulve event quest. Also, with this update, they've added new pendants, and then finally a obtain item placement option has been added to the options menu. So that's about it for the main system changes that came with this update. There were a few more miscellaneous ones, including that appraisal weapons or Kulve weapons are now easier to obtain from the actual Kulve Siege itself. Incandescent weapons now produce higher rarity weapons more easily. This again applies to the Kulve Siege, and they've added upgrades to the following charms, including the attack charm and evasion charm, so you can get the attack charm to level 5 and the evasion charm to level 5. I'm personally very excited about the evasion charm being at level 5, as I've started relying on that skill quite a lot lately, especially when using the light bowgun and dual blades. But now comes the, well, boring bit of the video, where we go over the bug fixes and balance adjustments that came with this update. I may drone on a little bit here, but I want to get through them and potentially give my thoughts and opinions on them. So first of all, in terms of bug fixes and adjustments to the bases and facilities in the game. First of all, they fixed an issue where the order of the research requests would change when submitting photos to the Linear Researcher in a certain order. To be honest, I've actually rarely delved into the Linear Researcher tasks, so that is still something on my to-do list, and thus I haven't really experienced this bug. Next up, they fixed an issue where players would receive a penalty and not be able to enter another player's room under certain conditions. Capcom didn't specify what these conditions were. Capcom also addressed an issue where a low drop rate item was displayed in the Wings reward chart of the Master Rank Rathalos. Capcom also addressed an issue where you could set layered armor while having full armor equipped if done in a certain order. When you're wearing full armor sets, you're not really supposed to be able to have layered armors, but the full armor sets aren't exactly the most well, meta out there. To be honest, I really only use the Leon and Claire full armor sets. Apart from that, there are layered armors of the full armor sets, so I tend to use them if I want to look like a specific character. Anyway, they also fixed an issue where players' appearance would display unintentionally when using specific gestures in the Gathering Hub. Again, I haven't really experienced this bug. Capcom then went on to fix an issue where the number displayed on some hairstyles while changing your appearance would differ depending on the character type. Again, I haven't experienced this, but mind you, I haven't changed my character's hairstyle for quite some time now. The Admiral Spiky Hedgehog Nergigante looking hairstyle is kind of being cemented with my character's style. Anyway, Capcom then went on to address another issue where under certain conditions players couldn't accept the next recon assignment from the Gathering Hub's Publas after completing the quest across the Lost Path. And finally, in regards to bases and facility bug fixes and changes, they fixed an issue where, when certain conditions were fulfilled, a completed icon would be displayed on the research request that had no photo. Again, this is another bug fix in regards to the Linean researchers and the whole photography aspect of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So that's about it for the base and facility bug fixes and balance adjustments. Nothing too major there, just a few things that were ironed out. But we're moving on to bug fixes and adjustments to the monsters in the game. First of all, Capcom addressed an issue where under specific conditions, certain monsters would behave unintentionally when beginning a turf war. I definitely have experienced these, well, strange behaviours when capturing footage for the turf war video, which is still on its way. I did hold off on it because I assumed that Raging Brachydios and Furious Rajang would have a lot of turf wars and thus I needed to get footage for that. But alas, they didn't actually come with that many turf wars. Furious Rajang had a few, but Raging Brachydios unfortunately didn't have any, given the nature of the quest he's involved in. But anyway, Capcom then went on to address an issue where, under certain conditions, parts severed from Raging Brachydios would go into an area that players cannot enter normally, and thus not allow them to carve the rewards from that part that was broken off. Again, I really haven't experienced this, but I can see it happening given the nature of the hunt that involves the monster, namely the last area you fight the monster with the lava walls blocking players off. I can imagine if the tail falls outside of that area, players may not be able to loot it, unfortunately, and the only way out of that area is to die. Anyway, next up they fixed an issue where the explosion from the blast element would not sync correctly with certain monsters during online play. Capcom then also went on to fix another issue where under certain conditions Furious Rajang's behaviour would become erratic if the final part of his pin attack was performed on breakable ground. This is referring to the icy areas you fight Rajang in, where you can either destroy parts of the cliffside or cause it to fall through the icy lake. And then finally, in terms of bug fixes for the monsters, they fixed an issue where during the Safi Jiva siege, where if a certain step was taken, objectives would appear completed even if they had not been. So a few things that have been smoothed out with the monsters there, especially in regards to Raging Brachydios and Furious Rajang. But next up we're moving on to player bug fixes and adjustments. This normally refers to aspects that involve the hunter itself in the game. So first of all, Capcom fixed an issue where under certain conditions the third Fleet Master's hairstyle would display unintentionally. I've never seen this, but I can imagine it being quite amusing. They also went on to fix an issue where equipping the Tracker's hairstyle along with the Pearl Spring Alpha head armor, which is the Pearl Spring Macaque head armor, would cause the player's character's appearance to display unintentionally. Again, I haven't really seen this. Capcom also fixed an issue where equipping the male Direwolf layered head armor along with specific hairstyles would cause the player's appearance to be displayed unintentionally. I can imagine there being a lot of clipping in regards to this. They also fixed an issue where performing certain gestures with the feline Ishvalda raiment alpha would cause unnatural behavior. Capcom also fixed a bug where the player would be sent flying in an unintentional direction if they were hit with Furious Rajang's pin attack while wearing the Rocksteady mantle. I can imagine that being actually quite amusing to witness. They also tweaked the position of the Demon Lord mace sword and shield while it was sheathed. I haven't actually crafted this weapon yet, so I cannot comment on this one. Capcom also fixed a bug where cancelling the grapple off of a monster near certain walls or boundaries in the tundra region of the Guiding Lands would result in the player getting stuck behind a wall or becoming out of bounds. Capcom then went on to fix a bug that caused certain weapon poses to appear unnatural when Glavenus or the acidic Glavenus insect glaive was equipped. Capcom then went on to address an issue where players who were grappled onto a monster would be forcefully dropped when a dual blade user would hit a monster with its Clutch Claw unique attack during online play. Again, I haven't really noticed this, but mind you, I'm normally that dual blade player, so I do apologise if this has happened to others out there. Capcom then mitigated an issue that caused players to take damage despite successfully performing a foresight slash. This applies to the counter move for the longsword if you're not aware. Capcom then went on to fix an issue where pendants couldn't be seen when the Banuk Coil Alpha and the Aloy bow were equipped at the same time. This is in regards to the gear that you get from the various Horizon Zero Dawn event quests, so it won't apply to PC and Xbox users out there. They then went on to fix an issue that when poisoned, the drinking animation for using certain items would be cancelled. And finally, in regards to player bug fixes, Capcom fixed an issue where under certain conditions, the player would perform a guard animation with a weapon drawn. Not 100% sure what they mean by this, but again, it's something they've just ironed out. So that's about it for the player bug fixes and adjustments. There's only one more section left, and there's only a few here, which is miscellaneous bug fixes and changes. First of all, they've added an explanation to the squad tutorial to state that sub-leaders can also invite players to that said squad. They also fixed an issue with the available quest screen for the Guiding Lands, where under certain conditions, players from one quest would appear in a quest session that has no players in it. Capcom also addressed a bug where planned research requests would be unlocked by an unavailable event. They also fixed an issue where data remained in the custom radial menu when obtaining an incorrect item. And then finally, Capcom fixed a bug where an error would occur when checking add-on content while online. So that's about it for the miscellaneous bugs. There were a few minor ones as well adjusted, but they haven't stated what they are as normal. But as always, if you're at all interested in these patch notes, I'll leave a link down in the description below so you can check them out for yourself. But that's about it for this update. As you can see, there's been a fair few bug fixes that have been ironed out, but nothing too groundbreaking. The major additions, of course, Master Rank Kulve and Archtemper Namiel, and the event quests and gear associated with them are definitely the highlights of this update. But you may have noticed that Capcom are not calling this a title update or free title update as they normally do, so it feels more of a halfway point, almost like a mid-season update. I'm sure when Alatreon comes, this will be classed as a title update, and the game will be upgraded to version 14.00 or the equivalent to whatever system you're playing on. But that's about it for this patch update information video. Don't forget to check out the associated videos, including the Master Rank Kulve guide if you're interested. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a patch information video regarding patch 13.50 for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.